end of the day, I don't want our candidates so beaten and bloody that they cannot beat Hillary Clinton. All right, let's shift gears here a little bit. And you may have seen some video either on our social media or the Gazette was running some video that came from the 5th Congressional as opposed to the convention itself. Because you have to remember there are a lot of smaller assemblies that work their way into to what happened on Saturday. But one of the names that kept coming up over and over and over again, everybody, and these were some pretty big people. A couple of them had been people who had run against Doug Lamborn in the past, admittedly, but others were not, who said, look, you have to meet the new 5th District GOP candidate, Ms. Vargas. And I want to make sure that I don't get the pronunciation wrong. Ms. Vargas, please give it to me.
Calandra Rochelle Vargas.
There you are, Calandra. All right. Why in the world are you doing this? There are a lot of braver souls, not braver souls. There are a lot of high-profile names, a lot of people who have run for office, who've held office, who have said, you know what, that's a solid seat. There's no point in bumping my head against it. Why in the world would I want to do it? Why are you doing it?
One thing, I'm not a celebrity. I'm a citizen, and citizens deserve a choice. That's why I'm doing it. I'm running for the people that are disenfranchised with the party, that are fed up, that are pissed off, that are disappointed, that don't feel that they're included. I'm standing up for them.
And what would be the biggest difference between you in the House as opposed to your opponent in the House?
Well, I'm absolutely a team player. You know, a congressman, a congresswoman, they're only as good as the people that they put around them, and they're only as good as what they're willing to give back to the people that sent them to the office in the first place. You know, we don't have a majority in our local government in Colorado. We don't have a majority. Well, we'll see how the election goes this fall, but we've got to play to win as a team. You know, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a safe seat. You know, I think my opposition goes on and on about how conservative it is and how proven his record is, but the truth is, what is he doing to help build the team?
One of the things that has been an issue in prior elections, and one of the things that, you know, I've heard from people who've run against him, and I was hearing from people who were telling me, you know, how I needed to meet you. We're doing it on the radio, but how I needed to meet you and talk with you has to do with communicating, how good of a communicator you are, how it's not just a matter of being in the House, but you can be a national spokesperson for conservative issues as well. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. Well, like most people in my generation, we have a lot to say. We don't fit certain molds, or perhaps we're having to deal with issues that the Republican Party hasn't had to deal with before, and I care about that. You know, and I also have a lot of friends, they're not Republicans, they're not conservatives, or they may vote, but in reality, they're not confident that the party is going to reflect the issues that are, you know, influence their day-to-day life. So I'm standing up for them. I think that when you have new people, when you have diversity, when you have a fresh voice, when you have someone that's willing to respect people that are different than them, people start listening. And if I can invite people, if I can give people a reason to become a registered Republican and build our party, then I've already won.
One of the things that I did hear before I ever talked with you, there were people who were telling me, and it's actually, there was a weird comment from your opponent when he was giving the speech on Saturday. It had something to do with when he got to the end, and it was saying God bless America, and saying that it was different from what his opponent was saying, and was saying that he was actually catching flack for saying God bless America. I had somebody pull me aside and say, hold on. You need to talk directly to Calandra Vargas and find out what she said. I went back and I looked at one of your speeches. I don't know if that was the speech in reference to, but there's no direct reference to the current seat holder right now. Explain to me what the controversy is here and what you did say.
The controversy is that he either didn't hear me correctly or he's willfully creating spin to try to discredit me. Everyone knows what I said. There's one speech out there. You can hear it yourself. And the reason I said I'm not going to end my speech with God bless America, and I'm referring to Republican candidates in general, even Democrat candidates. It's just a popular, cute, cliche thing to do is to end your speech with God bless America. Well, I'm not going to do that because, you know, we need to think about what that actually means. And so I address the idea and say, I'm going to challenge each of you to live a life that's a blessing to God and it's a blessing to your fellow Americans, because I'm tired of cliches. I'm tired of candidates saying the same thing over and over again without really thinking what they're saying. And if we're gonna mention God, then we've got to get our hearts right. We got to be serious about that.
I am so full, jam-packed today. Promise to have you back again. My producer keeps meticulous, down to the minute balances in terms of how much airtime each of the candidates get. So I can guarantee you will get fair and equal time here on the program. But before we go to this break, we've got some other phone calls. Then we've got Jeff Hayes from the Republican Party who's going to talk to us about this tweet and Trump and all of that's centering around the Colorado Party. How do people get in touch with you? How do people get in touch with your campaign? And final thoughts before I let you go.
Wonderful. I have my Facebook page. It's Calandra Vargas for U.S. Congress. Start there. I'd love to connect with you. Please message me. And my final thoughts are that I value people. I respect people. We need to start thinking ahead. We need to start thinking as a team. I want to keep this race positive. I want to keep it above board. We've got a great future ahead of us in this country, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
All right, Calandra Vargas, thank you so much. And, of course, you can go to her social media, Facebook page, short intermission when we come back.